I was watching old Andrew Wang videos. He's this musician YouTuber with a strong focus on synths. And he took his channel and moved it into a spaceship. And for a long time he went on this space travel. So I was thinking, if he can take a synth channel and turn it into a spaceship. I have a spaceship. Maybe I can take my spaceship and turn it into a synth. I've been looking at Eurorack, which is a modular synthesizer, and this is already built as modules. Every piece here can be moved around and connected to where I want them. To have modularity in the looks. Of course, modular synthesizers are also about modularity in how information flows. I think this is going to be a great opportunity to learn about communication and how things fit together, and especially start to look at analog technology. So not just ones and zeros, but flowing numbers there in between, which is to a large extent what synthesizers are about. So we need to find ways for this to flow back and forth, and that's going to be a bit of electronics and stuff. So this is still going to be about technology and playful ways of connecting and building, more than it's about music. Of course, there might be some kind of sounds in the background as well. We'll see what happens. But before I start mounting things directly in the spaceship SimPit, I want to set up some kind of music machine externally so that I can test things and try things out and see what works and what doesn't work. And then, once I have something running, then I can start mounting it into the spaceship. Oh, hi. Here from the editing. Sorry, I forgot to say something. The first thing I want to do is build a synth. But I don't want just any synth. I want it to look interesting. And I want it to be sci-fi. And we're going for Star Wars, even though the game I'm playing in the SimPit is Elite Dangerous. This is partly just because I like the aesthetics of Star Wars, but also because I'm thinking of bringing the synth and some of the other stuff to a Star Wars inspired LARP in the future. So let's continue the building. The first thing we want to do is to build a frame so that we can get exact measurements. These are Eurorack rails, 84 HP or horizontal pitch, and that's just a measurement for length. 84 happens to be the length of a normal rack. I fit these together with a specially made side panel, and that way we get perfect squares, so that we don't have to worry about that. These you can get from a lot of different places. I got mine from Exploding Shed, who specializes in do-it-yourself synthesizers. This is the back, and this is towards the top. If you look closer, there's a bit of a lip here, so that's the outside, and then the panel goes down in this direction. And on these side panels, there's a small hole over here, which makes it possible to add the threaded strip, the thing that you screw things into afterwards, or square nuts, as I'm going to use. These side brackets are built to sit in a specially built case. So if I would like to put this in a rack instead, I need another one that has a bit of a lip over here that you can kind of put in and then fasten. But for this I'm gonna build a special one, so this is the one I want. Oh, and this, don't worry about it, it's just a small thing. It's the kind of thing that happens when you do this stuff. That's why we have the t-shirt, right? We all make mistakes, and this is your chance to be proud about them. So if you want to help the channel and also be proud about your making mistakes, the link is below. I kind of deliberately using one of the simplest and worst screwdrivers I have, just to show you that you don't need that much special equipment to get things rolling. I mean, I could do it like this as well. These are self-tapping screws, so they make the holes for themselves and cut themselves into the metal as I drive them in. And I got those as well at Exploding Shed, so you can buy everything in one place. And this way I have the perfect measurements, including the sides, so that I can measure the box that I'm going to put it in. And the holes in the side should fit these. And that way I have something to fasten my modules to. there it is, 2 frames. That should be enough to fit everything that I have right now. I have this nifty key set up with the main modules I'm using here, but that's just a small system. And I have other modules lying around. So I made a box. And it's just a small wooden box. I made this off camera. And there I have the frames, and I can mount modules in here. And inside I have a place for mounting the power connectors. And that means now I also have space to mount whatever modules I make to connect this to the SimPit. But this one is quite ugly, so let's try to give it a makeover so that it fits better with the theme. At this point we want to build up the Star Wars feel to our box, so part of that is lots and lots of unnecessary panels and details. I'm using foam board to cut out those panels and do beveled edges and just put some details in. And here's how it looks right now. I cut 45-degree angles all the way around and just put a pattern that's similar to some of the patterns that we see in the Star Wars movies to get that kind of feel. Here I'm putting an on-off switch and here a light to see if it's on or not. So it's for practical reasons, but it's also part of the layout and getting it into that space feeling. Next step is to clean up all lines and make them flat and nice, and then I want to paint it. The front I haven't really solved yet. And if you do something like this, be aware, putting a thick layer of foam outside of it is a nice insulator, keeping the heat inside, which is exactly what we don't want when making a synth. But it's gonna look sci-fi nice, and that's what we're going for. I mixed PVA glue and acrylic paint and a little bit of water just to make it flow better. And it turned into this grainy paste, which would be terrible in most cases. But in this case it filled a bit and it gave me this texture, which is exactly what I wanted. So, lucky mistake. Now I just need to let it dry and then give it a bit of dry brushing. If you look at how to start using modular synthesizers, usually people suggest that you start with a semi-modular. And I think that's a good idea. Then you get a bit of everything and you can make some music from it. But that's not where I started. I started here with a Pocket Operator Modular 400. It's a small synth from Teenage Engineering, and it is modular, completely modular. Teenage Engineering is known as this design synth company that makes quite expensive gear. But what they are doing is working with design limitations. And in the case of this one, the design limitation was money. So they were looking at how can they make something on the cheap. And honestly, it's a bit hard to make any kind of music from that machine, especially if you care about scales and things like that. But it gives you a very good overview. It gives you one of each of all the modules that is central to making modular synthesizers work. And also it's compatible with Eurorack, or almost compatible with Eurorack. It has the same connections when I plug something into it, and it runs on the same voltage, plus 12 and minus 12. But all of the modules are screwed directly into that one. But there are people making shields for them, so that you can get them into the Eurorack format. But even then the power connector is a bit different, so it's not 100% compatible. But it is transferable over. So when I started making my box, I gutted this one. This is just the metal shield that's left. I took all the modules and put them on plates that fits with Eurorack. I kept the connectors and I took the power distribution and put it into the box that I'm making. As I was taking things apart, I took the opportunity to also make some other changes. This is the power distribution, and I removed the switch and solder on some wires. And now I can put the power switch on the outside. This thing connects to this hub that distributes power among all modules. And here's the final wiring. 12 volts comes in here. Originally there was a power switch here, which I moved over here instead. And going back, this is the original wire sending out ground and plus and minus 12 volts. That goes into this power strip that distributes this between modules. And then a wire goes out from that one into this one. And these are normal power connectors for Eurorack. On this power distribution strip there was also a small LED, and that one goes out into light here so that it lights up on the backside instead. So now when I switch it on, I get the light over there. This is gonna take some time. This is just the first steps. So subscribe to this channel, and that way you see also the coming videos and we can see where this leads. And how the digital is gonna fit with the analog, as well as how the computer stuff is gonna fit with the music stuff. I think it's gonna be fun.